day 7 sourdough check-in. As you can see, overnight this one rose. It looks like it rose up to here and then it came back down. This one, it looks like it rose up to about here and then it fell back down. So I feel like they're doing what they're supposed to. It's just this one's more liquidy or like a more hydrated starter, and this one's a more stiff starter. So I'm gonna feed it twice today, and then we're gonna try to make a loaf of bread tomorrow. Okay, so I put my sourdough starters in the oven with the light on. The oven is not on, just the light to give it a warmer environment. And look at how many bubbles I have. This one rose so much so far. And even this one, it's doing a pretty good job. It's only been less than 4 hours. That's what it looks like. Sorry, ignore my dirty stove. Hey everyone, happy Vlogmas day 19. Yeah, it's the 19th today. It's Tuesday, the 19th. Okay, so I got quite a bit done and I can't wait to share it with you. But first, we are going to open Advent. So we are on day 19. Oh, that's so pretty. It is very light and pastel yellow with a bit of pink. Let me bring it a little closer so you can catch it. Yeah, right there. Oh, that's real pretty. I like that one a lot. And that one is Buttercup, who is the unicorn in, it's one of Bonnie's toys. So he is in Toy Story 3 and 4. He's fun. And then I will show you my Advent sock. I need to measure it because I feel like it's almost done. So I need to see how much more I need to go. But I added in this color today. My son picked that out this morning before he left for school because I forgot last night. He picked it out. There's the front, and I am using the Cold Brew socks by Lofty Loops. I think I still have a bit to go. The thing is when I calculated out how many stripes I was gonna do and how many rows per stripe, I know I typically do around 80 rounds for my foot. I have a size 8, US 8 shoe size. And I like mine a little tighter, so I usually do between 70 and 80 rounds, just depending on what I'm feeling like that day. But I usually do a slip stitch heel. And on this, I did a fish lips kiss heel. So that changed the length of my heel. And I did not account for that. So I will measure that. But the most exciting thing I have to share with you guys is it's done. The sibling sweater is done. I still have to block it, but I'm gonna do that when I'm done recording this. But it's done. All the knitting is done. It's bound off. I think the majority of the ends are woven in. This is the back. I love this shoulder detail. It's great. And it's done, and I am so happy, so happy. So I'm gonna block that in just a minute. As soon as I'm done with this, I have to change my laundry lid anyways, and I block in my basement because that's where I have room and where my kids won't touch it. And yeah, now I get to cast on new projects. I'll show you how much yarn I have left over. So if you're just joining me or haven't been watching, that is the Sibling Sweater by Penrose Knits. And I had three. Yeah, I had 3 balls of this, and this is what I have left. Say these are 50 gram balls. It is Swish DK from Knit Picks. And I want to say I probably have 15 to 20 grams left of that. I'm not going to use it. I could try to make a hat, but I don't know if it'd be big enough because I only have this much left of the gray. I have hair everywhere, I'm sorry. If I ever make you anything, there's probably hair in it. And there's just nothing I can do about it. I tried to pick it out, but I missed some. Okay. So I have not touched my socks yet that I was knitting. Those are actually going to, they're just gonna, this is the bag that they're in. This is made by my Aunt Sandy. and it was gifted to me. But that is just gonna sit there because I'm gonna cast on my niece's socks because it's 6 days till Christmas, and that's when I want to gift them to my nieces. So I have 6 days to knit a pair of socks, but they're for a kid, and I should be able to do it. I think I can. We're gonna see if I can. I'm gonna try. So I still have the leftover sitting up. I know I'm pointing up. You can't even see my hand. It is up sitting on top of here, which is my yarn, book, stuff. I don't know. It's not very organized because I'm just not an organized person. My husband wishes I was, but I wasn't. I'm not. I try. I do try. I try. But I'm going to, I think, cast those on. It is almost 2 o'clock right now. And I really don't have any plans for the rest of the day, but I also don't know what I'm making for dinner. So I need to figure that out. Yeah. I gotta figure that out, and soon. So that's all my knitting today. I showed you my sourdough. It is rising so much in my oven with the light on. Oh my goodness, it is like... So yeah, it was definitely the temperature in my house. It's just too cold. My house is at 68 degrees. I do have a thermometer in my kitchen. When I cook, it gets up to 72, but normally when the oven's not on, it sits around 68. So it's just too cold for my starter. So I threw it in the oven with the oven's not on, just the light is on to warm the oven. And I had to put a little Post-it note on my oven where I go to turn it on saying, there is sourdough starter in the oven. Take it out before you turn on the oven. Because I will forget and I will turn on my oven. So I'm gonna feed it once more time tonight, and then I am going to try to make some bread with it tomorrow. I think I gotta figure out which one I want to use to do it, because I have my little experiments of one that I'm using by grams and one that I'm using by measurements. So far the grams is turning out a lot better than the measurements, but the recipes I'm using were from the person with the measurements, and so I don't know if the hydration of the sourdough starter is going to affect the recipes. So I'm still trying to figure that out and how all of that works. This is my first time trying to make sourdough, and I'm really bad. I do spur of the moment decisions. Like my husband mentioned, like, oh, why don't you make sourdough? And I'm like, yeah, let's go for it. So buy all the things, watch all the videos, and cross my fingers and hope it works. And if it doesn't, never touch it again. So I'm going to try making the loaf tomorrow. So you have to make the dough, make the loaf tomorrow, and then on Thursday I cook it. It's a very long process, but we're gonna see what happens. I like the recipe from the person who uses the measurements. It is Farmhouse on Boone. That would be the recipe I would be using. It makes 2 loaves, which is what I want. And so I think I'm gonna use the more liquidy starter tomorrow. And then I'm going to keep with my daily feeding of the measurement one, since it's not that much. And then maybe on Thursday, I make the dough using that starter and that recipe, which would be Little Spoon Farms, I think. And then I make that. I'm thinking about taking that to my in-laws on Friday, because they like sourdough. So we're just testing things out right now, and I don't want to be stuck with all of this sourdough bread. I mean, not that it would go bad. I could just pop it in the freezer. I could cut it up, make breadcrumbs, which we go through breadcrumbs all the time because I coat any piece of meat that we have in breadcrumbs. It's just how we eat it. It's how my husband grew up eating it, so that's how we eat it. So I'm thinking out loud through this. This is what my days look like. This is what I go through. My brain, like, it's constantly like, oh, what should you do? What should you watch? You should probably watch another video on this. You should probably try this instead. We should have done this instead today. And it never stops. And then I get overwhelmed and I sit on the couch and I do nothing. So I'm going to try to keep that from happening today and go switch over my laundry load, block the sweater, and figure out what I'm going to make for dinner. So I will insert more clips. I'm really liking doing that. That's how I did at the beginning of Vlogmas. I wasn't feeling burnt out. I like popping in and out a bit, but having like the main sit down where I show you the progress on my projects. So if you guys are liking this, please give me a thumbs up, like this video, subscribe to my channel. We have a ton of stuff coming very, very soon. I was supposed to get together with Stephanie to talk about some yarn and our plans for next year. But unfortunately, our family's been getting sick this past week, and we were supposed to get together tonight. Well, we would have gotten together tonight to talk about it, to tell you guys our dye plans for next year, but that might have to wait till next week, which is fine. There's your little sneak peek though. I'm very excited about it. Anyways, I am gonna go get started on something because I'm stalling at this point. So I'm gonna go get started on something, and I will check in with you guys later, and I will see you tomorrow for day 20. 20. Vlogmas is almost over. Crazy. Okay. All right. I need to get to do something. I went down to my single jar of sourdough starter. The other one just was not looking so good after the oven. It got really, really liquidy, and it just did not look right. So I have this jar now, and I'm gonna stick with this because it seems to be working. I made some sourdough buttermilk biscuit dough, and then that's gonna stay out until tomorrow morning, and I'm gonna bake it, and I'll let you know tomorrow how it turns out. I'll also leave the recipe linked below. And then me and my son are putting together his teacher's Christmas basket. So we made some homemade hot cocoa mix. We have some popcorn and some M&Ms. Hi. And then I'm gonna tie, hang on in 1 second. I'm gonna tie the instructions on how to do the hot cocoa mix with this cute little ribbon I found. And now we are going to go wrap a present for his gift exchange.